Hello! Today, we are going to discuss the phases of the moon. So, at the end of this video, you will be able to identify the phases of the moon. We learned in our previous lesson about the Earth is rotating on its axis, which causes day and night. And it revolves around the sun, which causes the seasons for about a year, one complete revolution, or 365 and 1/4 days. But have you been asking the closest neighbor of our planet? Or have you been wondering about the so-called lunar month calendar? Voila! We called it moon, and in this video, you will learn about its movement and how does it look like in our planet in different time. The moon takes about a month to orbit the Earth, and the sun can only shine on half of the moon at any given time. Since the moon orbits at exactly the same rate as it spins, we only see one side of the moon. The side we don't see is usually called the far side of the moon, or the dark side of the moon. When the moon is closest to the sun, the side of the moon facing the Earth is dark, which is not visible in our naked eye. But because the sunlight reflects off the Earth, so we can still see the moon if we look closely, which we called new moon. Then the moon comes around, we start to see a tiny silver of the moon, and this is referred to as the waxing crescent. A few more days pass by, and now we can see half of the moon. We call this half moon specifically as first quarter. Why? Because we are a quarter away through the phases. Then a few more days and only a small portion of the moon is not lit up. This is called the waxing gibbous. When the moon on the other side of the Earth is completely lit, it is visible in our planet as big luminous object, which we called the full moon, and it's probably the phase that you're most familiar with. Now the light began to fade. We mirrored the previous phases, and here's the waning gibbous, the third quarter, the waning crescent, and back to a full moon. And here's some trick to remember the phases. Waxing means growing or increasing. The lighted part of the moon is increasing. Waning means decreasing. The lighted part of it is decreasing. Crescent is where the moon is mostly dark. Gibbous is where the moon is mostly lit. First quarter moon, it will rise at about noon and set at about midnight. And third quarter moon will rise at midnight and set at about noon. Why do it happen? Because of the moon's orbit around the planet, which is also tilted. Now remember, the moon revolves around the Earth once every 29 days and a half or a month. And because of that movement, we see different phases of the moon on Earth. And that ends our discussion today, so please remember the important words. Number 1, new moon. Number 2, waning gibbous. Number 3, third quarter or last quarter. Number 4, waning crescent. Number 5, full moon. 6, waxing gibbous. 7, first quarter. And finally, number 8, waxing crescent. For your homework, please answer your worksheet 4 and your workbook page 89. Have a great day and goodbye.